As I stand before you all, and as I'm looking at all of you, such handsome boys and charming and wonderful ladies, you are taking me back in my life by 40 years. I feel excited to be speaking with you and to be sharing some of my thoughts. I too was in a college, and as one of my previous speakers, past National President Ratnam sir, he talked about Anjali. And another previous speaker, past National President Subbuji, he talked about making choices. Sir, I wish that those two gentlemen, one who could not marry Anjali and landed up in asylum, and one who married Anjali and still landed up in asylum, both of them should have heard you before. The reason is that they would not probably have known that in life there are so many choices and not only Anjali. Ladies and gentlemen, this between Anjali and choice, there is one more element that is missing, and that probably is time. Time and trust. You propose to a girl a little too early, while she has not trusted you, probably it doesn't work. You propose to a girl a little too late, it still doesn't work. It is the time that matters. And therefore, I believe that these two elements are interwoven in our life. They are an integral part of our life. Even if we wish to separate ourselves from these two elements, it's not possible. Friends, time is everything. Everything that happens with us, it happens in our lives. All those things are associated with time. I remember the day when I was in 10th grade in a school, and my father had asked me to go on a trip, on a business trip. I didn't know anything about business, but he said, you must go. I didn't want to go, but he said, you must go. I went. It was a tough time. A 10th standard boy traveling all by himself in the train on the route that he has never been before to do business. When I was a child, my father used to tell me when I would climb the tree, my father would tell me, please drop from the top branch of the tree, jump down. And I was scared. I didn't want to do it, but I was made to do it. That time was a fabulous time when I learned. My father trusted me that I would grow and have that kind of a confidence. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, without time and without trust, there is absolutely nothing in life. Everything that we have is associated with time. Time is past. Time is future. Time is present. Time is glory. Time is legacy. Time is performance. Time is also your sadness. Time is also your happiness. Everything that happens at a time, it has a tremendous association with you and your life. Have you heard about the Alexander the Great, the king? When he was on a deathbed, he asked his commanders, please tell all the doctors to carry my dead body. When I die, please tell all the doctors to carry my dead body. He says, number two, please distribute all my wealth and my treasure and my money on the road on which my body is being taken to a funeral station. Please do that. And the third thing that he said was, please keep my hands dangling and my palms open. The commanders were confused and they asked, why? King, why do you want us to do that? He says, the doctors must know that when the time comes for me to go, nothing can stop it. It's my time to go and the time cannot be stopped. The wealth that I accumulated in my life, and I have struggled so much and won so many battles, will not be able to stop me from dying. That also is of no use. And lastly, he said, my palms are open and my hands are dangling. He said, I believe that when we came, our hands were empty, and when we are going, our hands are too empty. I think that is time. And therefore, I look at life. When you look at your life, you will be able to associate yourself with everything related to time. If I were to ask you what is time, probably you would say, time is dynamic. Time is, it never stops. Time flows and all that. but these are the characteristics of time. I believe that time is nothing but the space between two events. Space between two events. You want to go to Bombay from Hyderabad, you board the flight at Hyderabad, you deplane at Bombay. These are the two events, and the space between those two events is time. To quantify time, we have taken some constant references. Like for example, the Mother Earth revolves around its own axis. We divide it into 24 equal hours, and that is what we call as an hour. And so is the case with when Earth moves around the sun, and we divide that space between the two events, the beginning and the end, in 365 days, and probably that is 1 day. So time is an essence of life. Now, the question comes in my mind, what is life? What is really life? Then drawing the corollary from the previous statement, life can also be termed or defined as the space between two events, the birth and the death. And therefore, time is life and life is time. And when we talk about managing time, we are actually not managing time, we are managing life, because it is life that comprises of time. And therefore, time to do things, time to take decisions, time to do things right is now. Somebody has said beautifully, you are living, between 9 to 5 before you realize that you are already 95. You are living between 9 to 5 before you already realize that you are 95. The time goes on and on and on. And we are so much involved in our routines that we don't realize what are we missing. And therefore, it is extremely important that while we work in our profession, while we are earning money, we must also take care of life as such. Time has its own cycle. When it's time for you to study, you must study. When it's time for you to go into a profession, you must do that at that right time. When it's time for you to spend time with your family, you must do that, because time is the essence of value. Time cannot be created, but it can be made. How do you make time? How do you really make time? Well, when you seek support from others, you are making time. When you seek help from others, you are making time. If there are 50 people who work for you for 1 day, 8 hours, you are actually creating, or rather making, 400 man hours. And therefore, empowerment is a way to make time. Delegation of tasks is a way to make time. Prioritizing is a way to make time. Because it's those important matters in life which give you happiness. There are two aspects of life, success and happiness. Both are the two sides of the same coin called life. Every successful person may not be very happy, and every happy person may not be very successful. And therefore, we need to work at both. And both are associated with time. And that's how the time must be respected and time must be valued tremendously. My father trusted me. I remember the day when he was in hospital. During those last days, I was sitting by his bed for 72 hours continuously. He would open his eyes. There was an oxygen mask on his face. He would open his eyes, look at me, smile, and go back to sleep. This kept happening for 72 hours. There was a small stool in that ICU where I was sitting. There was no other space to sit there. And I believe that those 72 hours were the most wonderful time that I had in my life. My father was not speaking to me. I was not talking to him, but I think we were into a conversation. And all these years that I was busy, not being with my father, not being with my family, I realized that this time were theirs. It was not mine. And I think that's where, you realize a lot of aspects of life. We all are busy making things happen, but we don't ask whether those things are really needed. I think this is where the direction comes in. Trust is another factor. Trust is equally important as time. We all live with relationships. If there are no people in our lives, probably, our life would be empty. It is not possible for us to live without people. And every person has a relationship with another. I have relationship with you right now at this moment of time when I'm speaking and you are listening to me. I have relationship with my wife, my children, my parents, my friends, everywhere. Employer has a relationship with employees. And trust comes from trustworthiness. If I'm worthy of your trust, probably I can win your trust. But if you don't trust me, it would mean that I'm not worthy of your trust. Trustworthiness is more important than trust itself. And this beautiful equation that trustworthiness is equal to your credibility plus your reliability plus your integrity and intimacy and divided by your self-interest. If we are self-oriented, probably we will not be trusted so easily. Our credibility is the commitments that we make and fulfill them. The promises that we make and fulfill them, we become credible. When we live our lives with principles, ethics, morals and values, we become credible. When we promise something and we fulfill, we are reliable. People would know if I'm asking him to do something, he would certainly do. Come hell or heaven, come what may, but he is going to accomplish the task. That is reliability. And intimacy is the personal connect that you have with people. Many a times we lose out on this personal connect. Our trustworthiness happens, enhances when our self-orientation is less and our credibility, reliability and intimacy are at the highest. And therefore, it is very important, that we understand how we can develop trust. Trust is a function of character, competence and consistency. Character is what you are and competence is what you do. Both are extremely important and both must be at the highest. You have a very sound character, but your competence, your skill, your knowledge is less, you still cannot work. If you are very clever, very competent, but your dependability is not there, the character is not there, that reliability is not there, then probably you still cannot work because people don't trust you. And it is here that we must create, this credibility and this, ability to win the trust of others. The three features for a video on your mobile, just remember. One is slow mode, which is a slow motion. Another is a feature that gives you a normal video. Third is a feature that gives you a time lapse. Now, slow motion is a motion in which you get to observe all the details that have happened. Minutest thing, you can easily notice them, is in slow motion. Trust grows in slow motion. There is the normal video which you are enjoying, you are able to enjoy because trust is there, which is established and you are reaping the fruits of your trust. You have wonderful relationship. And time lapse is something which is fast forward, which is on a fast track, where you really don't need to work at establishing trust because it is already there and now there is a lot of freedom between the two people. I think these are some of the aspects that we must understand, that we must create, the trust through slow motion. It takes time. And that's where we are able to, add value to people in terms of trust and time. You cannot separate these two dimensions from life. Let's work, at the right time, do the right decisions, make the right things happen at the right time, and ensure that we have tremendous trust in people and the people trust us. If these two things can happen, your life is going to be wonderful. You will be successful and happy. And that's exactly what JCI does. JCI teaches you how to do this. I am a fortunate member of Junior Chamber International India, where all these things have been taught to us, and we are happy that we are the members of Junior Chamber International India. Thank you and God bless you.